It's Friday, February 21st, 2020. Wanted to make a quick video today before I head out for an appointment and just kind of recap some of the things that have transpired today. One of them being this, which is a real concern of mine, this inverted yield curve. The 3-month and 10-year continue to be inverted. The 3-month is at 1.56, the 10-year is at 1.47. We know historically, whenever the yield curve inverts, a recession follows. I believe the recession has already begun. I believe this time what is going to follow is a major depression. More bad news today, more real concern here, and it's this infection that is spreading all over the world. We have more cases popping up now in South Korea, the Middle East, Israel, Iran, Italy. It does not look like they're able to contain this. Some people are making videos. Some of the analysts on the business shows this morning are basically saying that this is going to, be old news by next week. I don't believe that. This may not go away in a week. We may see some real serious consequences here as we are watching supply chains breaking, factories shutting down, shortages now in stores even here in the US. And the outlook does not look good. The Prime Minister of Cambodia has succumbed to this infection. He is now dead. When I read news like this, when we have politicians, when we have multiple countries, we have inverted yield curves, it should be no shock that the Dow Jones would be down 1,000 points today. It closed down in the red, 227 points. And let me tell you, the repo injections, the multi-millions of dollars, I'm not sure how much they pumped in today, but you could see the Plunge protection team at the very end hard at work to revive these markets. Dow Jones was down over 300 in the last, I don't know, maybe half an hour. And they did everything they can to, get that thing back around 200. So, I mean, it's just amazing how quick they can just knock off 100 points and psychologically not have that 3 on there and get it back into the 2s. But they're having a harder and harder time controlling these markets. And at some point, these markets are going to get absolutely out of control. But it's almost laughable when you see what's happening, when you read the news, when you look at the statistics, massive infections popping up all over the world, global slowdowns, people living paycheck to paycheck. The average American doesn't even have $400 saved up, and the market's only down 227 points. Look, it's all rigged, it's manipulated, and they are going to lose control at some point. 30-year Treasury bond yields break to all-time low. The 30-year hit a record low today. I think that was about 1.89. The 10-year right now is about 1.49. Expect a rate cut to come, but ask yourself, is a quarter point really going to do anything to fight infections, global slowdowns, slowing U.S. economy, manufacturing falling off of a cliff here, retail falling off of a cliff, transport falling off of a cliff? Again, this economy is in much worse shape than most of you think. With half of China locked up, car sales plunge 92%. You think that this is not going to have a global economic effect on the world? This is insane. Treasury yields plunge to record lows as U.S. PMI collapses. Looking at the flash reading, which is an estimate of manufacturing right here in the U.S., the flash PMI today, 49.4, it was estimated to be 53.4. The flash manufacturing PMI, 50.8, was estimated to be 51.5. Flash composite PMI today, 49.6, estimated to be at 53.3. And think, this is the best this economy can get. They are throwing trillions of dollars at it. They are keeping rates as low as we've ever seen them. And this is as good as it gets. The amount of massive debt that they are creating, and this is as good as it's going to get. You are going to see a reckoning take place here in the U.S. economy when this market corrects. New orders received by private sector firms fell for the first time since data collection began in October of 2009. This shouldn't be happening in a booming economy. Infection is weakening demand across all sectors such as travel, tourism, and falling exports. Supply chains continue to break. Factories continue to slow down. Millions of businesses, companies are going to be affected by this. Here's a bellwether for you again. When we look at the 30-year at an all-time low, we see yields across the board plunging. The 10-year at 1.49. We see inverted yield curves. This is a bellwether. This is a warning to every one of you. You know, historically, a recession follows. I believe the recession has begun. We are going to see bad things coming. The reckoning of America, the financial reckoning of America is coming, and you are being warned. For anybody who ignores inverted yield curves, who ignores plunging yields, who ignores 30-year yields at a record low, who ignores the fact that Americans are living off of credit cards just to survive, living paycheck to paycheck. 47% of Americans now don't even have $400 saved up. If you think that this is a booming economy, if you think that this is the best America has ever been, if you think that nothing bad is coming to America, you have got to be a mental midget. I don't mean that to offend anybody, but you are not functioning, your brain is not functioning at 100% capacity, because this is so black and white. It is so easy to see, and yet people continue to ignore it. People continue to go into denial, stick their head in the sand, pretend everything is okay, while they have no money saved up, while they're working 3 jobs, while they're living paycheck to paycheck, while they still haven't even paid off last year's Christmas shopping or their student loans. They believe everything is okay. If you're one of these people, you need to wake up and get out of the matrix immediately, because when this economic tsunami, when this reckoning hits America, it is going to take no prisoners. If you're one of these people who truly believes everything is okay, I really pray that you wake up, get out of your bubble, get out of the matrix, get out of the twilight zone, and just get out of your make-believe world, because I don't want you to be a victim of what is coming. This economic tsunami, this massive economic reckoning coming to America, it's not going to be kind. And for the people who are prepared for it, it is still going to be a very, very rough time. Now, if you are not prepared for it, you are not going to stand a chance. I believe people are going to get wiped out either physically, they're going to be wiped out financially, they're going to be wiped out mentally, spiritually. People are literally going to be walking zombies when this thing hits. Just think. People who are reliant on their 401k or their pensions, who think they're going to ride off into the sunset and have a wonderful life, when that money is not there, or when most of that money is not there, their world will be turned upside down. Just think, some of these people are going to have to go back to work at 60, 70 years old just to survive. You do not want to be a victim of this. You need to be protecting yourself. You need to be having an emergency fund put away on the side, ready to go when this day comes. You need to be holding hard, tangible assets. You look at gold today. It was up nearly around $30 at one point. I think it's up about 25 right now. Silver was up around 23 cents. I think it's about 20 cents right now. You know, great numbers. They did very, very well, even though they are still highly manipulated. They don't have the same control over the metals like they once did. The metals continue to go up. People are running to silver, they're running to gold, they're running to dollars. You see the yield curve plunging. So this is all warning you that there are people out there who are concerned, they're fearful of what's coming, and you're seeing people running to these sectors. Existing home sales slide in January. This was no surprise. January sales were down 1.3% month over month. And it's shocking that in a booming economy with record low unemployment and record low mortgage rates, that home sales aren't doing better. Mortgage rates will continue to crash. You're going to see more refis. You're going to see more subprime. And so this is going to sucker more people into the housing market. January sales in the West Coast out here fell 9.4%. And I said in my video yesterday that I saw a billboard off the freeway yesterday, and it was a company who will come to your house and they will remodel your garage so that you can rent your garage out for $1,000 a month. So, so many people have responded that they're seeing the same thing in their area that I'm seeing in mine, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars in a driveway, because you have two families living in a house and then you have another family living in a garage. This is the booming economy. This is record low unemployment. This is the massive job creation taking place. But remember, these jobs are hospitality jobs. They're service sector jobs. These are low paying, low wage, minimum wage type jobs where people have to work 2 or 3 or 4 of them just to live in a house or with another family, or to live in a house, to live in the garage. So this is where we're at today. Very, very concerning. Another concern, we're now hearing that the president may have to bail out the farmers yet again. And as I said before, this phase 1 deal is no deal. And the Chinese are not going to be able to commit to this phase 1 deal now, dealing with the situation that they have taking place. So how much is this going to cost America? It's going to be another bailout. Phase 1 falling apart at the seams right now. And so what does that mean for trade? What is that going to mean for agriculture? What kind of consequences now will we have here without a phase 1? And just think how far phase 2 is. There is just so much uncertainty taking place here in the world. And I cannot reiterate this enough. You need to be preparing every way possible. CNBC today. The cost to the airlines now, because of this infection that is now imploding all over the world, it's going to cost the airlines more than $29 billion in revenue this year. That's on CNBC. That was on CNBC last night. I want to close this video up with this. Peter Schiff, gold is your only alternative. I want to go through this article. I'll paraphrase through it for you. Peter Schiff made some excellent points here. This is why I'm a big believer in gold, a big believer in silver, and why I'm not a believer in what the media tells me, because we are being lied to about a lot of things right now, about this economy, about these infections. We're being lied to about a lot of this. We've got quantitative easing. We've got negative real interest rates. We've got massive deficits as far as the eye can see. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you could put money in your bank and you could earn 5 to 6%. There was a reason not to own gold, because there was an opportunity cost. You could actually get interest on your savings. Now you can't do that. In fact, 20 or 30 years ago, central bankers claimed they wanted price stability. Now they claim they want inflation. They want prices to go up at least 2% a year. If they're not going up 2% a year, they're not happy. So the central bankers are telling you, if you hold currency, you are going to lose. So gold is the only alternative. Think about that. If you put $10,000 in your bank today, or say in your safe or what have you, you're losing money. That money next year is going to buy less than it buys today. And we all know that inflation is much higher than 2%. The government tells us it's 2%, but we know it's 10%. At least 8%, but I would say closer to 10%. The Fed is justifying low rates by claiming that there is no inflation, claiming that we are below 2%. Have you been to the grocery store lately? Give us a break. Well, what happens if we actually get back to 4 or 5%? How is the Fed going to put the genie back in the bottle? If they raise rates, they force the U.S. government into default. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right here today. I'm going to leave you with this. We are no doubt in uncertain times. No doubt we are in uncharted water. It's like we are driving a huge semi-truck across a frozen lake of thin ice, and that ice is cracking. And at some point, the ice cracks and the truck sinks. This is a time that we must all be thinking like a central bank. You have got to be your own central bank. We cannot be dependent on the financial institutions, the markets, the banks. We can only be dependent on ourselves. So make sure that you are topping off all preparations. Look, gold and silver are still extremely cheap. Now look, next week, everything could be resolved. Everything goes back to normal. They could bring gold and silver back down. The infection situation is fixed and everything goes back to normal. But you need to take what's happening right now. You need to take this as a lesson because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen next week. You don't know what's going to happen next month. This all could get resolved by next week and everything's fine. But what happens the week after, a month later, next year? What's the next event that takes place? Because at some point, an event is going to take place that is not going away. The people who are prepared will survive. The people who are not prepared will not survive, period. So make sure that you continue to prepare, continue to walk close to God, and we continue to wake up people. Even though most people are not going to listen, there are people waking up. In fact, I think we are living in such a historical time that I've never seen so many people wake up in the last few months as I've seen now. People are waking up. Yet the majority will be the sheeple. They will continue to, follow the masses. But more and more people are waking up. And thank you for all the comments down below because a lot of people read those comments and it has woken up a lot of people. And it's made me think a lot myself. It's made me prepare even more than I have reading those comments because I know that the slowdown isn't just happening in an area where I live. It's happening all over the United States of America where you live. So thanks for the updates. We all really appreciate that. So I'm going to leave it right there today. Look, you're prepared. You're walking close to God. Enjoy life. Enjoy every day of life you have. Spend it with your family, your friends. Enjoy nature. Get out. Do something fun this weekend. You're prepared. The people who aren't prepared, those are the people who are going to be living in fear. These will be the people living in paranoia. These are the people who will be living in an ultimate nightmare when this thing hits. Me personally, I enjoy life. I'm going to enjoy my weekend because I'm prepared. And I know that something is coming and I know that I'm prepared. And I thank God every day that He has woken me up and prepared me. And I'm going to continue to prepare to the best of my abilities. And I'm going to continue to enjoy life to the best of my abilities. A lot of us sometimes get too engulfed in all the negative and all the bad things. Look, you got to have balance in your life. Take a break. There's nothing you can do to stop what's coming, whether it's this infection, whether it's an economic collapse, whatever it might be. There's nothing you can do to stop it. But you are preparing. You will thrive. You will be prosperous, and you will get through it because you are awake and prepared. So enjoy life. Enjoy every day you have here. Enjoy it and have balance in your life. Have a great weekend. God bless every one of you, and we'll talk very soon.